time some more participants join, would love to know from all of you, like, what is your expectation in next 1 hour? What information that you want me to share with you? If anybody wants to share.
Hi, Jitendra this side.
Yes, Jitendra.
So I am currently I'm working as Scrum Master, and I have a little knowledge about SAFe.
Mm-hmm.
But from this seminar, I just want to understand more about SAFe and
Okay.
how is it helpful, your organization, how to implement it, and how is it
Okay.
different from other agile frameworks.
We may not be able to go into those details, Jitendra, but SAFe definitely we will talk about.
Okay.
I'm Sangeeta. I'm working as a Scrum Master in
Definitely.
JP Morgan Chase. So I have an experience of close to 5 years in Scrum and Kanban, but SAFe is something which is one of the agile scale framework, right? So I'm planning to take a certification in SAFe, but this seems to be more related to remote PI planning for today, right? The topic which I've mentioned.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you can give an high level information on SAFe certification, all that also will be more helpful.
We will cover that at the end. Definitely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi. This is Rasminandan. I'm working as a Scrum Master. Though we are working for Scrum and Kanban, so I would like to have some knowledge regarding SAFe and how it can be used, and what are the use cases, in which cases we can use this framework.
Okay. Cool.
Hi, Amit. I'm Sylvia. I'm working as a Scrum Master. I have knowledge on SAFe. I just want to know what are the other certification we can do as part of, as a Scrum Master, as part of SAFe. Like we have advanced Scrum Master SAFe and all, right? So a little bit overall idea on that will be grateful.
Sure. At the end, we will talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Lakshmana here. Recently, I have done my SAFe. Just thought to use this session for brushing up.
Okay. Which SAFe certification you did, Lakshmana?
SAFe Agilist.
SAFe Agilist. Okay. With Star Agile or with anyone else?
Yeah, Star Agile.
Star Agile only. Okay. Shrikant, anything from your side?
Hi, Amit. I just want to brush up and want to revise
what we did yesterday.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
You are right.
So, Arpan, do you want me to wait for some more time or can I start?
You can start, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Arpan. So, to introduce myself, my name is Amit Kaulagekar, and I am a SAFe program consultant. I've also been, with Star Agile for almost like last couple of years now, and do their SAFe classes. So I'm going to walk you through the remote PI planning, plus I would be answering some of the questions that you just raised, and so about the certification and other things. And then we will close the session. I will also give you information about the upcoming classes with Star Agile. So the agenda for this webinar is like brief overview of SAFe, the PI planning process, primary benefits of PI planning, how we, when we implement SAFe, what are the improvements that we see in business outcomes. Then we will also look at anti-patterns, SAFe agenda for remote sessions, opportunities for SAFe Agilist, and Q&A. So these are a few things that we would be looking at. I would also talk about certifications and walk you through various certifications. And as like there were specific questions about, certification related to Scrum Master. So we will look at that as well, though it is not covered in the agenda. you can stop me at any point of time. You can ask me any questions. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's not like, I'll just go through a webinar and then at the end we will have Q&A session. So starting with the overview of SAFE, those of you who are not familiar with SAFE, SAFE for Lean Enterprises is a knowledge base of proven integrated principles, practices, and competencies for achieving business agility by implementing Lean, Agile, and DevOps at scale. So this big picture that you see at the center of this slide, it is actually combination of principles, practices, and competencies coming from 3 areas: Lean, Agile, DevOps. And how do we kind of use these competencies to achieve business agility? So SAFE defines business agility as the ability to compete and thrive in the digital age by quickly responding to market changes and emerging opportunities with innovative business solutions. So by using these principles, practices, and competencies, we can, respond to market changes quickly, not only market changes, but emerging opportunities as well with innovative business solutions. So when you look at SAFE, Scaled Agile framework, the simplified view of this framework is presented in the form of 7 core competencies. The center of these, at the center of this is definitely customer, and the foundation of these 7 core competencies is Lean Agile leadership competency. It talks about leading by example, leading the change, and it also talks about mindset. What kind of mindset as a leader you are going to have when you are leading this transformation. But on either side of this Lean Agile leadership, we see 3 competencies each. On the left hand side, we see team and technical agility, agile product delivery, and enterprise solution delivery. These competencies are useful for execution. And for strategy, we have lean portfolio management, organizational agility, and continuous learning culture. We go into details of these competencies and the 3 sub-dimensions that each competency has got during the Leading SAFE class, and we understand more about it, like how they help in achieving business agility. So the customer is prominently featured at the center as a focal point for all the competencies. But then if this is a brief overview of SAFE and we are going to talk about PI planning, most of us are familiar with the concept of sprint planning. Now, how PI planning is different than sprint planning? When multiple teams coming together, multiple Scrum teams coming together, do their sprint planning for next 4 sprints. That is what I would call as a PI planning in simple words. Or the way SAFE defines PI planning is like, it's a cadence-based face-to-face event that serves as the heartbeat of the Agile release train, aligning all teams on the Agile release train to a shared mission and vision. And what they are doing is, everyone is attending in person if at all possible. This is a 2-day event every 8 to 12 weeks. And Agile teams own story planning and high-level estimates. They create their plan for next 5 iterations during these 2 days. So together they are all these teams, 8 to 10 teams coming together and planning their work for next 8 to 10 weeks. And that's something that happens in PI planning. So before I go ahead and walk you through more details of PI planning, I'm going to play this video of PI planning for all of us. Let me know if it's audible. Is it audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Agile Manifesto states, the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is a face-to-face conversation. SAFE takes this to the next level with Program Increment, or PI, planning, a regular face-to-face event bringing the entire Agile release train, or ART, together to create alignment on what to build next. PI planning has a standard agenda that includes a presentation of business context and vision, followed by team planning breakouts, where the teams create their iteration plans and objectives for the upcoming PI. Facilitated by the release train engineer, this event includes all members of the ART whenever possible and takes place over 2 days. PI planning is considered an essential ingredient of practicing SAFe. It's so crucial that it's said that if you're not doing it, you're not doing SAFe. Inputs to PI planning include business context, roadmap and vision, top 10 features of the program backlog. PI planning starts with the event briefings. These briefings are delivered by business owners and key stakeholders and provide a clear vision and context for the upcoming PI. Everyone receives the same message to create alignment during the PI planning event. A successful PI planning event results in agreement across all teams and their respective business owners on the goals for the next PI, which is reflected in 3 crucial outputs. Committed PI objectives. PI objectives are created by each team, and business value for these is assigned by the business owners. The program board. The program board is updated, showing feature delivery dates, dependencies between teams, and relevant events and milestones. Risks. Program risks are identified and either resolved, owned, accepted, or mitigated. Teams leave PI planning with a committed set of PI objectives and with a good understanding of how they will work with one another across the ART to resolve dependencies, so that the whole ART is contributing to meeting business goals. PI planning is a powerful way to ensure all teams on the ART are aligned and moving forward together, to match demand to capacity by allowing teams to plan their own work, to establish face-to-face communication and speed up decision-making, create visibility for inter-team dependencies necessary for feature delivery, and to gain commitment from the entire ART on the upcoming PI plan.
So when you look at the PI planning process in a short video of 2 minute 50 seconds video, and those of you who are Scrum Masters or who have been doing Agile for last several years, what kind of similarities that you see between PI planning and sprint planning? Anyone?
Amit, a small question if it is allowed to ask.
Yeah, sure, anytime.
Yeah, this is Saurabh. I'm new to the SAFe. I'm just wondering, in a practical scenario, do we really get opportunity, especially with a distributed team wherein everyone comes together and discuss for 2 days, or how it works out?
Yes, it does happen. I mean, I did PI planning before Christmas in December, just like a month back, and I mean, we have been doing that. That was my 4th PI planning in 2020 remotely. We started in March at the time the lockdown started, and it's not just distributed teams, it is distributed and completely remote now. I mean, everybody attending from their homes.
Okay.
It does work.
Okay.
If that's the answer that you're looking for, yes, it works,
Yeah.
provided you kind of follow the
I mean, sorry to interrupt. So, like when you said that you are done 4 PI planning in this 2020, did you face any problem? Like, most of the time we have power cut and maybe the time zones are different. So were there any challenges like that? Like how effective it was?
Yes, it was effective. So what we did is we decided to do it not in 2 days. We decided to do it over a period of like 4 days. So we cut the agenda from 8 hours to 4 hours every day, and we spread PI planning over a period of like 4 days. So that way, all the teams were coming together for a shorter duration. We ensured that everybody has got the battery backups and kind of connectivity wherever a particular individual was not having or a particular individual was having connectivity issues. We have provided dongles from the office to them, so that they should not have connectivity problems. And it's not just one service provider. We have given we have tapped multiple service providers so that whichever area, whichever service provider is providing the best service, you pick up that dongle and kind of, make sure that you are joining these meetings kind of. So yes, we have ensured that they join, because what happened is, like, when we were doing inspect and adopt workshop at the end of the first PI, some people missed out because they didn't have connectivity. And then when we actually discussed the outcome of inspect and adopt, they were like, we would have loved to contribute. So that we learned it from that incidents, and we made sure that for the subsequent years, everybody was like having proper connectivity.
Okay. And what about the physical board? No, any online boards you guys use?
No, we are using tools, online boards. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Now the name of the tool, I mean, if you like go for like which tool to use and all, it's right now there is no specific tool as such available. You can use tools like Mural, Miro, or you can even to use tools like Candice. But it completely depends on the organization what kind of tool that they want to use and how to create the program board and everything. So that's completely organization specific.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
So you do the PA planning the sprint wise, or you say that because you said for next 10 weeks you will be ready for the entire set of the work, you will slot in
Correct.
just those 2 days?
Yes.
So 10 weeks is close to how many months? Close to 5 months? 2.5.
2.5 months, not 5, 2.5 months.
2.5 months. So
Yeah.
is it really doable? I mean,
yes, it
to
is
have
doable.
a vision, I mean, is it at high level, or you will do a deep refinement and then story point, everything you will do in those 2
To
days?
a great extent, it is like almost like what we practice is like 80% of what we are going to do in next 4 weeks.
So is it a 2-week sprint for you?
Yes, 2-week sprint. Yeah.
Okay.
So 2. SAFE also recommends 2 weeks sprint. They call it iteration, but they recommend 2 weeks iteration.
10 weeks is close to 5 months. Okay.
No, not 5 months. 2.5.
2-week sprint, you said, right? Which is 10 days. 10 days in a sprint.
Yeah. So 10 weeks is like 2-week sprint, right? Each sprint.
So in a month we'll have 2 sprints.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you just give us a high level snippet where I just wanted to see how feasible it is to slot the work for the next 2.5 months? Because as we are in Scrum, right, at least 2 weeks is minimum work wherein we are ready with. But this is a long way we'll have to think about.
So what happens is, like, say what SAFE or Scale Agile framework is doing is that I'm going to skip some slides in between. They provide you with PI planning toolkit. Okay. And this toolkit provides resources curated and distilled from hundreds of real world implementations. As a SAFE program consultant or as a SPC, when I started working on actual implementation, these toolkits were of like, use to a great extent, I would say. Or rather, I'm really thankful to SAFE for coming up with these toolkits, because they provide you a facilitator's guide to distributed PI planning. You get the PowerPoint, like you get to know how you are going to run the whole event. So you kind of use the PowerPoint to run your event. Then you also get the agenda from them, like this is how you should be doing the PI planning. So you get an agenda for day 1, day 2, day 3, or you can spread it over a period of like 4 days. Then the next thing is content preparation. Herein you actually work on scope, context, organizational readiness, agenda, facilitator preparation. So they're giving you a checklist to find out whether you are really ready to do PI planning. In addition to that, you are also getting facilitators checklist or facility checklist, not facilitator, sorry, facilities checklist. So here you also kind of answer questions related to audio, video connectivity, internet connectivity. They have even talked about power for participants. Like if you are able to see it on my screen, I don't know if it is readable, but if you are able to see this, that also factor they take into consideration when you're doing remote PI planning. So these checklists help you a lot when you are doing remote PI planning. So you refer to them, you ensure that everything is taken care of, and then with lots of confidence you get into the PI planning meeting. There are other spreadsheets as well which will give you an idea like how do you create the backlog for 8 weeks. So what would be the features that you would be working on? There's another Excel sheet for that. So what would be the features that you would be working on? How those features are broken down into stories? What is the priority of those stories? Which sprint you would be working on which story? If at all there is any dependency, all that you kind of document, and with that Excel workbook, which has got like program backlog, which is like features and stories, you get into the PI planning meeting. And
How
you share
live
that
this
Excel sheet.
document? I mean, because when we do the sprint planning, right? Every sprint planning, the start of the sprint, we will connect with the product owner, and he'll try to reprioritize based
Correct.
on a lot of changes happening. But
Correct.
when you do this planning for the next, 2.5 months, are you not seeing any reprioritization occurring?
It happens. It happens. So it's taken care of through the Art Sync meeting called the Art Sync meeting that happens with product owners. So product management works with product owners, and if at all there is any scope change, then that would be communicated through product owners to the teams. And depending on which iteration or which sprint the team is in, they probably might decide whether to introduce that change in this particular program increment or in this particular PI, or wait for this PI to get over and take it up in the next PI. It all depends on the value and cost of delay.
Can we apply this to the Scrum practices also? Is it that the teams has to dedicatedly follow the safe practices to apply this?
Actually, they are doing Scrum only. No? They're not doing safe. I mean, when you're talking about safe practices, how to apply these practices for across multiple teams at the same time. So 7th principle from safe lean agile principle says cadence and synchronization. So how you can synchronize all these teams on a same cadence, how they can start delivering value together. So that's why you're bringing everybody together, but at team level they are following Scrum practices.
Okay.
The only thing is that instead of preparing backlog for 15 days, now you are preparing it for 8 weeks. That's the only difference. So how do you map it, and how you are the question is how you are able to create it for 8 weeks? I would ask that question.
Right. That is a bigger challenge.
Yeah. So how SAFe takes care of it is SAFe looks at the solution roadmap. Each Scrum team, whatever they are working on in a span of 2 weeks, they are at the end of the sprint, they are releasing working software which is adding value to the end customer. Yes, no?
Right.
Now, on what basis you are prioritizing your sprint backlog and deciding that these are the stories that I would be working on?
According to sprint goal.
Based on business value.
Yeah, business value, sprint
and
goal.
The priority.
Yeah, correct. So you are that sprint goal or business value is based on what?
What we want to provide to the customer.
Correct. So you have a list of features arranged in a particular way that probably in the month of January, these are the features that I want to deliver to the customer. This value I want to deliver to the customer. In February, I want to deliver this value to the customer, like that. So you would have some kind of a roadmap.
Yeah, right.
So what SAFe does is, in the PI planning, if you remember, if you are able to recall what I talked about in the video, initially business context, vision, and roadmap is shared with the team. So if I'm talking to team for and I'm going to share the vision and roadmap for next 10 weeks, that is what I will show them at the beginning, that this is what we are planning to accomplish in next 10 weeks. This is the value that we want to provide to the end customer at the end of these 10 weeks. And it comes from our roadmap for 2021. So in the first quarter of 2021, this is what we are going to deliver. Second quarter, this is what we are going to deliver. Third quarter, this is what we are going to deliver. Now, if these are the features that we want to deliver to the end customer, this is how we have prioritized it in the backlog, and they're broken down into stories. And now you will arrange these stories across 4 sprints, and you will deliver it at the end of the PI, that is program increment. So though you are giving system demo at the end of each iteration, you would be providing value to the customer at the end of the PI. So that's how the whole process works. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, to hear it looks simple, but yeah, there are a lot of complications with
I'm
distributed teams and integrations with different applications.
I'm with you. I'm completely with you. I mean, as I said, like I've done it like 4 times in 2020, and I know what we have gone through. Honestly, I completely agree with you. It is difficult to, unless, I mean, till the time you become comfortable with the process, till the time you get used to all the steps. Once you know, oh, okay, this is how it needs to be done, then it's a lot easier. And particularly the team members, kind of, they getting the hang of it. Oh, this is how it should be done. Now for the next PI planning that I'm doing, one of my team which did their PI planning like for the first time in December, they are like, we want those presentations, we want videos. We want to keep our videos on, because we want to see each other and we want to make sure that connect is there. Now the business owner coming and talking about the vision or the context with the video on, there are many team members who see these people for the first time. Oh, these are the people with, for whom we are working. That's their reaction, right? So once they start getting the hang of it, then it becomes a lot easier. They can interact with them during the breakout sessions. They can ask questions. They can get their doubts clarified, and that's a very enriching experience for the team members.
So Amit, maybe program managers or the product owners might be doing a lot of background work before starting the PI planning.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
you're correct. Product management and product owners have to work a lot to make sure that the backlog is ready for the PI planning.
Got it.
Yeah. Any other question?
How does this program manager or role will come into picture here in this PI planning?
I wouldn't call it program manager. They call it product management.
Okay. That is a part of product management.
Product management, yeah.
Okay.
And how is this different from LESS framework? In LESS, also, do you have the PI planning something kind of it?
Honestly, I haven't gone into the details of LESS framework.
Okay.
So I would refrain from answering that question. Wouldn't like to give you some wrong information.
Yeah, no problem. Currently, my organization is into LESS framework, and we are using Scrum. So I'm just trying to see if this can be fit somewhere in that.
I agree. So probably, after this and during next couple of weeks, I will find out more about it. One of my friend is a LESS practitioner, so I can find out more about it from him, and then I can put things together.
Yeah, that really helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amit, Shruti here.
Yeah, Shruti.
I just wanted to figure out what is the difference of way of working for a Scrum Master in normal Agile way and in this PI way. How exactly the differences can be found as being a Scrum Master? Is it the same?
Almost same, I would say. Like, what is the primary role of Scrum Master?
So he's trying to unblock the difficulties for the
remove
team.
The impediments.
Exactly. And also
coaching the Agile team, remove the impediments.
Yes. And also helping out the PO to understand what needs to be prioritized and how the backlog should be kept.
Here also he's doing the same thing.
Yeah. So almost the Scrum Master's responsibilities are still the same, even if he moves to PI planning process.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
So as per my observation, so mostly we'll go for safe when there are more than multiple Scrum teams are involved and the project duration is 8 to 10 weeks, right? Or,
Is it okay if I rephrase that a little bit?
yes, sir.
If I would go for Scrum, if I want to deliver value faster to the customer and value in terms of, so the question, the moment I say this, immediately the person in front of me would say, are you saying that the Scrum team is not delivering value? No, they are delivering value. But how I can, deliver a bigger solution, to the end customer. That's how I would look at it. When multiple teams are working on a solution, on a piece of solution, or say multiple teams working on multiple features over a period of like 8 weeks, and they're ready to deliver that total chunk of value to the end customer, there's a lot that you are delivering in the market. It's like, Apple is coming up with a new iPhone every year. But if Apple decides to upgrade their iPhone versions every 3 months, how the teams would work together and come up with the next version of the iPhone every 3 months. That's what I'm talking about.
Right, with a bigger goal.
Yeah, with a bigger goal. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. So these are the inputs to the PI planning process. Just to quickly walk you through the slides, like vision, prioritize program backlog, or top 10 features. And the output of the PI planning process is program PI objectives, team PI objectives, and program board. So what are the primary benefits of PI planning? As you can see on the slide, alignment to business context, vision, goals, or matching demand to capacity and eliminating excess work in process, identifying dependencies and collaboration, faster decision making. So these are some of the primary benefits of PI planning. This ultimately results in these kind of business outcomes. I have already seen first-hand by a week to ensure that everybody is able to attend, in all the key stakeholders. So if at all business owners are saying that we won't be able to join, you need to either move the meeting or make sure that they join the meeting. Then low confidence vote and no adjustments to plan. PI planning actually says that anybody on a scale of 5, if you give a vote as 2, even one individual can stop the train and one individual can stop the planning process. And you have to actually address the concerns of that individual, like why he feels that low confidence about achieving the objectives of the PI, and what is missing and how we can take care of it. So if that is not happening, then you're not doing PI planning properly. Teams are overcommitting than whatever capacity that they have all the time. It's again something that may not work in the longer run. And the last one is little or no interaction with other teams, product management, system architects. You're heading for failure if that's happening. Can I move ahead?
Yeah.
I have one quick question. You're saying that the business owners are not joining the meeting because, I mean, the product owner is part of the business owner, right?
No, they are different.
Okay, got it. Fine.
Yeah. And here you see the standard safe agenda for remote sessions. So day 1 and day 2 is what we have, and I've, probably Arpan would be sharing this presentation with all of you. So you can go into the details of this, like what's there. But as I said, like, to ensure, if the teams are distributed, to ensure that everybody is able to participate, we can, uh, we break this agenda into either 3 days or 4 days, and make sure that everybody is comfortable, and we do the PI planning event is successful. So what are the things that I need to remember for remote PI planning? These are some of the things that I have picked up from that Excel which I shared with you earlier. So you need to share in advance the meeting agenda and schedule. That schedule should be on everybody's calendar. So you need to send the invites, and not only meeting invite, the PI planning meeting invite, but also you need to make sure that all the team members have invites for their breakout sessions. You also need to send invites for Scrum of Scrum meeting that's going to happen during the PI planning events, presentations, handouts, and prioritize backlog in the form of that Excel workbook should be provided to all the team members. And you also need to ensure internet connectivity, remote communication arrangements, video audio channels, access to planning tools, like I said, like Mural, Miro, or Canvas, like tools. Then presenting channels, session connectivity protocols, and dedicated IT personnel. So if at all somebody is facing some issues, that can be taken care of by the IT personnel. All these you have to ensure when you are doing remote PI planning. It's not just about contents. There are many other things from infrastructure point of view that you need to take care of. Any question?
No.
Okay. So as I was telling you earlier, SAFE provides us with a PI planning toolkit. It talks about organizational readiness, content readiness, and facility readiness. And there are separate Excel worksheets or workbooks provided to assess readiness for each of these areas. And you ensure by answering questions given in those Excel workbooks, you actually ensure that you are ready on all these 3 fronts. So there's a facilitator guide to this, to distributed PI planning. Not you will find facilitators guide for in-person PI planning, like everybody is present in person, or facilitator guide to distributed PI planning. And you need to combine these two to kind of facilitate a remote PI planning. You can use these PowerPoints. There's a PowerPoint available for distributed PI planning events with the sequence that you need to follow in terms of agenda. So all that information is also provided to you. So you can actually pick up this agenda from the templates, various templates that SAFE provides. You can modify it according to the needs of your organization, and you can use it. So that way it saves a lot of your time when you are thinking about how I want to plan my sessions, PI planning sessions. And then, as I said earlier, the content preparation checklist or facility checklist, they help you to ensure that you are ready from facilities or facilities point of view as well. As a SAFE program consultant or as RT, these are your responsibilities. You have to ensure that everything is taken care of before you start with PI planning. When you do a workshop or when you do a class like SAFE Agilist, you get to know, you get to understand this whole process, how this happens, and you actually experience PI planning in the SAFE Agilist workshop. So you go through the whole process of PI planning. And since now, at least for last 1 year, since we are doing these classes remotely, how to do this remotely, you get to experience that part as well. That kind of prepares you for doing PI planning remotely. Not only that, you can also help SAFE program consultants in your organization as a SAFE Agilist. You can also help SPCs to run this event smoothly. So here is the team planning procedure, PI planning procedure, again given by SAFe, they as part of that PowerPoint. So what are the steps that you go through during PI planning? You estimate capacity for all iterations, review program backlog items, then identify team backlog items. Now from the program backlog, that means which stories that you are going to work on. Then identify any hard delivery commitment dates for any of the work items. Then identify, discuss, and address interdependency in the iterations, like which iteration you're going to work on which story. So there was a question earlier, right? How we are going to create the plan. So you kind of load those stories into iterations. Then you agree on PI objectives. We work on risks, like the acronym that we use for managing risk is like roaming risk. So ROAM acronym stands for resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated. So we identify impediments and risk, and then ultimately we prepare the final plan and present it to all the teams. So that's the planning process that all teams go through. Does it kind of give you an idea like what must be happening during those 2 days or 4 days?
Yeah.
So you can always read through this or use it as is in your PI planning process. So what are the team deliverables? They are also specified, like what are going to be your objectives, the risks, or how you so that my dependencies do not create a critical path, and eventually my final delivery is not impacted. So you can do those adjustments by looking at your program board. It also helps you in identifying delivery risks and identify the areas of improvement of the design of the architecture or organization of the agility stream. So there are many benefits of program board, and that is one of I would say that's the key output of PI planning process. Really helps, keeps or makes teams aware about dependencies and make sure that these dependencies are taken care of throughout the program increment, that is throughout the period of like those 10 weeks, so that the final delivery is not impacted. And here is the final plan acceptance criteria, kind of definition of done. So for this PI, all iterations are planned, PI objective sheets are available. It's not just PI objective sheets, risk sheets and PI objective sheets. And then for the subsequent PI, which is optional, draft objectives. So all this should be ready at the end of your PI planning process. That's the acceptance criteria for PI planning. Again, this is also given by, so SAFe is not just like kind of teaching it theoretically, but they are also ensuring that they are following that, they're implementing it even in an event like PI planning. So they're practicing what they're preaching. Any question?
Who is owner for all these entire activities? It's accountable.
Release train engineer and SAFe program consultants usually do that. They run the whole show.
Okay.
There, I've also seen organizations where SAFe Agilist, the guys who are SAFe Agilist, they have also kind of ran the show. I've seen that as well.
And what are the qualifications for this release train engineers?
You need to complete the exam
No, means they are what kind of project managers or product owners, something like that.
No. The release train engineer is a separate designation in SAFe hierarchy. There is a 3-day class for a release train engineer. So the way you get trained for Scrum Master, as a Scrum Master, you get trained, right? You either do CSM or you do PSM, correct?
Correct.
So similarly, for release train engineer, you need to go for that release train engineer certification.
Okay. With this SAFe certification, we get to know about the entire process. For different roles, we need to go for different certifications.
For particularly 3 or 4 roles, I would say yes, you need to go for different certifications. But say for example, you are part of product management. So the basic certification would be SAFe POPM. Then the third would be Agile Product Delivery or APM. And then the topmost would be Lean Portfolio Management. So in that hierarchy, you kind of work. Whereas, if you are playing a role of Scrum Master, then SAFe Scrum Master and SAFe Advanced Scrum Master. If you're working on DevOps, then there is only one certification, SAFe DevOps. So it all depends like what kind of role you are playing and how you can grow in the hierarchy.
Okay.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question?
I mean, just curious about your pie chart. So there is a percentage, right? Male and female. It shows like majority of the percentage is occupied by male. Is it like the job opportunities or like how was it?
No, many of the guys have gone for this certification earlier. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing the trend changing though during last 1.5 year. Many of the female participants are coming forward to do this certification.
Okay. Other thing is like in the Scrum, right? We have some of the companies expect the Scrum Master to do the other job as well. Like he'll be playing a role of a Scrum Master as well as he'll be part of either testing team or development team. So SAFe Agile is what happens. Scrum Master will have bandwidth to look into something else, or he'll be designated Scrum Master.
When you said something else, what is it that you are referring to?
I mean, like any other work, will he be able to do any
Which
other work?
Which
like maybe the testing, like the same thing, whatever he's doing on the Scrum, will he be able to do that, or
it is not recommended actually. Even in normal Scrum environment also, it is not expected that Scrum Master do testing or anything like that. Because
I know, because the Scrum Guide, I think the first Scrum Guide was they have to dedicatedly meant for, but like somewhere I've seen the requirement mentioning, okay, he has to be part of this team or that team.
No.
So I was just a bit curious.
I wouldn't recommend that personally.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are already done with the first class, 16-17 Jan yesterday. One of the participants from yesterday's class, Shrikant, has joined this webinar as well. And we are planning to do the next class on 31st Jan. That's the last weekend of January, from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., wherein we would be going into more details of the PI planning as well. I mean, day 2, most of day 2, the first half of day 2 is spent on PI planning.
I mean, I have another question. So, like, sure. The organization where I'm working, they're not using SAFe. I'm already SAFe certified, but the certification expires within a year, right?
Correct.
So how I'm like, mine was like 4.5. I think currently 5 is in market, right? So right. How is it? Should I focus? I'm very keen on SAFe, but I never got a chance to work on SAFe. So keeping all that in mind, like, should I go for one more certification, or should I just read and like maybe renew my certification?
If you're already SAFe 4.5, then you which is the best option for you is to renew your certification.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So those of you who ask me questions about certifications, here's the list of SAFe certifications. It all starts with leading SAFe, which is the basic certification. Then there is a implementing SAFe certification, which is SAFe Program Consultant certification, SPCs. Then SAFe for Teams, SAFe Scrum Master, SAFe Advanced Scrum Master, SAFe Release Train Engineer, SAFe POPM, Product Owner, Product Manager, SAFe DevOps, SAFe for Government, SAFe for Architects, Agile Software Engineering, Agile Product Management, Agile Marketing, Lean Portfolio Management. Bless you. So these are the certifications that SAFe offers. Now, if you have question about a particular certificate, ask me.
So Amit, SAFe 4.5 and SAFe 5, which certification it will fall under out of all this list?
Now it is SAFe 5.0. It is not 4.5 is not there anymore.
No, I mean, you are showing us SAFe 5.0.
Every certification is based on SAFe 5.0. So if you see here, this is SAFe for Lean Enterprise 5.0. So all certifications are attached to this framework now, this version of the framework 5.0.
So there is no need to attend one particular certification, right? Like you said, SAFe Scrum Master, SAFe PO. So if you just attend
you start with leading SAFe. Yeah, even if you start with leading SAFe, that's sufficient.
Okay.
Yeah. These are specific, role specific. So SAFe for Teams, when you're launching an agile release train, and you want all your team members to be trained on SAFe, this is the training that we go for. Now, SAFe
and the basic training which you said is
leading SAFe, the first one. Yeah.
Leading SAFe.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just brief us on you said it's a 2-day course, right? And how is the exam going to be? Is it a multiple choice or?
Yeah, it's a multiple choice, 45 questions exam. You need to clear almost 37 questions to pass the exam. And you get 90 minutes to answer 45 questions.
How complex is the exam?
Pretty simple, I would say. If you understand the contents, then it's pretty simple.
Okay, and what is the fee cost?
It's 45K plus GST. Arpan, correct me if I'm wrong. Arpan can be in a better position to give you those details.
Yes, sir.
So once we attend the trainings, so we get any PDUs and then immediately.
Yes, you get PDUs, 16 PDUs.
Okay, and
so
how
you just
soon
need
you need to give the exam with that
within a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You need to go to PMP website, just enter the class details, and the PDUs are automatically populated.
Okay, got it.
Any other question?
Sorry, how the PDUs will be populated? Say it again, please.
Just go to the PMP website, enter the class details, and the PDUs will be populated. Yeah.
Amit, what about the kickoff and backlog refinements? And this happens during the PI planning, or it happens earlier?
It happens earlier. I mean, during the sprints, it also happens before the PI planning and during the PI planning also. Yeah. There is no kickoff as such, but backlog refinement keeps happening on a continuous basis, almost on a weekly basis.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, Amit. This is Lavanya. I'm a certified Scrum Master. In my organization, we don't have SAFe yet rolled out. So if I have to move to the next, which is the certificate which I have to go about?
This one, leading SAFe. I have many participants from last 6 months who have done this certification. and either have moved up in the ladder in the organization or they have changed jobs. And in their job interview, they were inevitably asked about reading SAFe or SAFe framework, and they could easily answer those questions and crack the interviews.
Okay.
I didn't check this time with some of those participants whether I can give their references. Otherwise, I would have connected you with them, and you could have talked to them.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Do Star Agile sharing any list of openings?
Question for Arpan.
Yes, sir.
Arpan?
Yes, sir.
Is Star Agile providing any list of openings?
We'll update you on that, sir.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to Arpan offline and he can provide you details.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other question? What else you would have liked me to cover in this 1 hour webinar?
I think this is good. Since this was specifically to a PI planning, so, for me, everything is kind of new. So if kind of a high level overview on a SAFe and different roles, responsibilities, and the workflow, probably that would have helped a bit.
Okay. Anything else that you would have liked me to cover? Other than what feedback we just received? Cool. So if there are no more questions, is it okay if we stop? There's something in the chat. So let's see. Okay. That's it then. So it's okay if we stop?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sumit.
Thank you.